Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90 is brought to you by Stanbic Bank.
Spectrum wants to hear your views. You can SMS at any time during the show. Type Spectrum, leave a space, type in your contribution and name, then send it to 7197. Your views, our interviews on Spectrum, Radio 1 FM 90.
Hello, a very warm welcome. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. I am your host, Edmond Chizito. On Spectrum tonight, what other key issues emerging from the ongoing induction seminar for the new parliament? The 9th Parliament is holding a week-long induction seminar at which they are also discussing post-election concerns and other topics connected to democracy, the rule of law, and national development. This seminar aims at preparing MPs for the tasks that lie ahead and to also help the new ones learn how Parliament works and what is expected of them. Topics of discussion have ranged from constitutionalism, abuse of power, and the independence of Parliament, the relationship between the opposition and the ruling party, the role of Parliament in fighting corruption, election matters, among other things. Yesterday, Professor Frederick Sempewa and Makerere University Don Dr. Jean Barrier spoke about constitutionalism and governance matters, including the need to return presidential term limits, the independence of Parliament, election fraud, and expectations from MPs by their electorates. Today, retired Supreme Court Judge Justice George Kenyehamba spoke on the existing bad blood between the ruling party and the opposition, dangers of caucusing, the need to protect the Constitution from unnecessary amendments, especially the proposal to put conditions on bail for suspects. These topics stirred a lot of debate among MPs. So tonight we focus on some of those issues to see how important they are to the governance debate and if they will actually end up shaping the 9th Parliament. Our guests tonight, Hon Enanuel Dombo, newly elected Parliamentary Commissioner, also Member of Parliament for Bunyole East. You're most welcome, Hon Dombo.
Thank you very much, and good evening, our listeners.
We also have Hon Alice Alaso, Secretary General of the FDC, also District Woman MP for Serere. You're most welcome, Hon Alaso.
Thank you very much, Edmund, and good evening, our listeners.
Hon Alaso, we're having a week-long seminar. Some people have said it's a lot of money being spent for really something they could avoid. Is it really worth it?
Thank you. I think that's a great question to start with, a parliamentary induction seminar. I keep saying to myself how I wish I had had the opportunity to be inducted the way this parliament is being inducted. So to me, it's a very good opportunity. It's a very good culture for the Commonwealth parliaments, but most importantly for our parliament. First of all, because it affords the new members an opportunity to learn the practices. Parliament is not any other meeting place. It's not like you go to a drinking joint. It's not like you go to a church fellowship. No. There are rules, there are procedures that govern the business of that house, the conduct. So somebody needs to take you through so that you don't blunder. Secondly, I think this particular induction has given us an opportunity to understand what is expected of a parliament in the real essence of the word, and then also to get an inkling into what the public thinks about us, because there are certain things that have been said, some of them really hard. You feel you're sitting on needles when you're listening to them. So getting an inkling into what is expected, getting to know how to go about it, getting to know standards that are expected of a member of parliament. So that attempt to harmonize those various concerns is a very good opportunity. But most importantly, for those members of parliament who care to listen, there is a lot of stuff to learn. A lot of learning to do.
Right. Is there something they've left out that you'd rather they had included on the agenda?
Well, as time goes on, you have more and more opportunities, but I think the present framework is adequate, bringing you from the context in which you even find the parliament, the constitution per se, who gave birth to parliament. So you start from there. Then they give you the history of those parliaments before you, and then what people think you should be doing. For me, I think the basic framework is very adequate.
Honorable Dombo, do you agree with that?
Partially, yes. First and foremost, I want to tell you that about 65% of the members of parliament now are new. And to anybody and to any job that you are going to begin, it is just prudent to have somebody inducted to enable him conduct the business in a manner that is expected. First of all, you know that there is public expectation about conduct, about dressing, about the public thinks that by the time they come to elect you to become a member of parliament, you are already conversant with what you are supposed to do. And that is the impression that we portray in the community before we are elected. Hardly do they know that many of the people who are being elected, some of them have not even handled the copy of the Constitution. They have not come to terms with the rules of procedure and many other things that must be done. But besides that, me, I've been in Parliament since 1996. This is my 16th year in Parliament. But I want to tell you that every time I get an opportunity to listen to the presenters of papers, you begin finding out that either you're learning something new or you are being refreshed on something that you have known and you could have ignored. But also you are getting an opportunity to hear what the brains of this country think about. If you should have seen the quality of the people that have been selected to come and make presentations. Really, it is an opportunity for all of us to make a learning process.
Well, you listened to Dr. Barria yesterday. You also listened to Professor Sempebwa. They spoke about a range of issues. One of the issues that was raised was that the Constitution should be re-amended to restore term limits. Is that something that you agree with?
First of all, I want to tell you that that is the same argument that was there at the time the Constitution was amended. Because many people are saying that the Constitution should not be amended. And that was the proponents of the change at that time. We are vividly arguing to say the Constitution should be amended so that will remove the term limits, and they gave their reasons at that time. I want to tell you that the same people who argued then are the same people arguing now that we should now amend the Constitution. To me as a parliamentarian, I want to say this, that this is a very healthy debate that should continue being debated. First and foremost, you know that there is a peer influence. First of all, if you look at the East African countries, Kenya, they have instituted term limits in their constitution. Tanzania, it is a practice that I doubt if anybody will dare want to challenge. In Rwanda, it has not been tested, but I think it is in their constitution. And so this is a debate that will continue being debated, that members of parliament, people of the public, they should bring their views, and I strongly support that this is an issue that is worth revisiting and people debating, so that the best should carry the day.
Honorable Alaso, of course, I've said before, your thoughts are normally very, very organized, even though you come from the opposition. Talk to us about term limits. Is that something you think should be restored? Secondly, talk to us about personal rules. Some people have said President Museveni has personalized this country.
I think that the difference I have with Emmanuel on this matter is that for him, he's encouraging debate for I think for the sake of debating and the winner takes it, whatever. My position is very clear, and also as a party, our position is very, very clear. During the 2005 process of constitutional amendment, I personally voted against the lifting of presidential term limits, and I continue to maintain that view. I think that the constitution makers, or the ones who framed that constitution, understood the historical context of this country. And they wanted to give hope to Ugandans beyond a presidency that cannot be removed. You appreciate the power of incumbency. Incumbency is no mean thing. Executive power is no mean thing. So I think they wanted to give people an exit route. You've had this powerful president, you've had this good president, you've had even this dictator. And then you think now, okay, at least through the constitutional means, the person is going to exit and we are going to have a new opportunity. Of course, allowing new dancers, new players to come on the scene. Secondly, I still believe that this provision was not tested. And so, you know, you have a constitutional provision. Even before you test it, you think it is time to rewrite your constitution. I think that if we proceed at that pace, we probably will not have a constitution at the end of the day. But as it were, the argument now for constitutionalism, for the issue of restoring term limits, is largely about national stability. We are in times where we question our elections. Does our electoral process give a presidential hopeful? Leave alone a few MPs who can smuggle their way. Actually, last during the State of Nation, the president called some of us jokingly as survivors. So leave alone room for survivors like me and others. But I'm talking about a presidency. Do you see the possibility in this country that you can have another president emerging from an electoral process? My own view is that it's not possible. And if it is not possible, there has to be hope created for Ugandans that you can change a government without going to the bush. I presume, I don't know, but I think that things that took President Museveni to the bush was precisely because he lost confidence in the electoral process. Anyway, that is what I have heard. So if you lose confidence in the electoral process, it seems that the only option you have is run to the bush. Now, we need presidential term limits to help us, even if it is just one party, even if it is changing from President Museveni to another NRM president. At least you have the feeling that things have changed. But to continue without presidential term limits, it actually means you have a constitutional dictatorship. The only difference, I think now, between now and what we used to have during the days of President Idi Amin, is that President Idi Amin...
He was a life president.
He was a life president. And
he ruled for 8 years in the end.
And there was no constitution to that. So he was, anyway, a life president. Even now, under this present arrangement, where the elections don't offer hope, you can have a constitutional dictator.
Well, you talk about term limits so passionately, but some people will say it's not good to get, it's not every day that you get a good leader. If you get a good chance on a good one, keep him till he drops.
Okay, then you will have him drop dead with the country. That is the other way to go. You can have him drop dead.
Well, he's a good man, he runs the country, economy grows and so on. You have oil coming and things like that. Why not keep such a person?
Well, that is part of the debate that I said that it is high time we reopened and started debating to find out which is the best way this country should go. When Madam Alaso is arguing that the constitutional makers, she's arguing as if the people who changed the constitution are not the very people who made the constitution.
No.
Most of the people who made
Professor
the constitution...
Sepewa was one of the people who made the constitution.
Who made the constitution.
Some people think he supported removal of
he wrote a minority report
against it.
Honorable Sekandi is among those who made the constitution. He's even among the people who walked out at the time of the promulgation of the constitution. But he was presiding over the changes of the constitution. Most of these ministers and members within the parliament when the constitution was changed. But that's not the argument. That it had people who argued then had their reasons why they changed. One of the reasons why I support that debate should come up. One, it is first of all, I did support the lifting of the terms.
Oh, you did?
I did.
What was the reason?
Time, and I won't tell you the reason why.
Is it the same as mine, that when you have a good leader, keep him for long?
Partially, yes, but one of the strongest issues that influenced me, at that time I had an opportunity to go to the US. And I think it was one of the presidents in the United States who presided at the time of the Civil War. And he was about to sign the charter to free the black people. And he was assassinated before he did it. And the vice president who had told his line and believed in that, immediately the president was assassinated. The vice president changed the course and the black people took time to be liberated. There are things you can take for granted under President Museveni. And you think because there will be a change, there is going to be an opportunity under another leader. When I read that, I said, you never know. Let's have the best of President Museveni for now. When that time comes and we should do this, could be to have its opportunity. I don't know whether the time is now, because after all the constitution has other limits. Because we have not talked about the limitations about the age, it is also within the constitution, the other challenges. I don't know whether Hon Alaso thinks that even that one is about to be debated.
Well,
right, so
I have heard, Edmund, I have actually heard that we would like, the NRM would like to propose amendments to the duration.
You have heard from who?
From the gossip circles and the...
Yeah, but that's gossip.
Don't worry, you are the one who encouraged me to get to this that there is a possibility that you will be moving in with an amendment to increase the duration of the term to 7 years, so that President Museveni,
like Rwanda and France.
Like Rwanda and France. Then too, you also would like to shift the age limit, because gossip has it that the age limit at that time in the constitution was with the focus on the then deposed president of Uganda, the old man Apollo Milton Obote. So you are targeting the constitution makers, brought in that thing.
I don't think so at that time.
Well, I'm just telling you what I hear. So now, because age seems to be helping us find an exit route shortly from President Museveni, that there is also a proposal from the NRM that we change the age.
No, one of the things I know is that people have enjoyed the stability. You see, you need to test the problems of instability in order to appreciate what we are going through right now.
All right.
And myself, when you talk to many people in the villages, many people who are doing private investment, and the country has stabilized, I know Uganda, like any organization, is facing what people call founder syndrome.
Yes.
That will be suffered by all companies that have been set up. It will be faced in FDC, it will be faced in everywhere. That people who found organizations and they have nurtured them to growth,
yes,
usually would want to be seen around to sustain that growth over a period of time.
Like Nelson Mandela?
Like Nelson Mandela.
Stayed around for 5 years.
Stayed
around for 5 yes. That's a long time, isn't it?
But Nelson Mandela, apart from himself, the people actually who sustained this the ANC were not Mandela who was in prison. There were many people who are outside prison who are doing the work of Mandela.
And in the NRM.
And they're still around.
And the NRM.
When you look at Nyerere.
Let's talk about the NRM.
One man's project.
Which one?
NRM.
NRM has been around with the President Museveni. And President Museveni is a founder member of NRM, and he has deliberated and presided over an organization that many people feel challenged when they see him wanting to go.
Right.
But he himself has an interest in an organization that he founded and nurtured. Founder syndrome is a real issue at actually at NBA level. It is even taught in the corporate world.
Granted.
That how do we transit from the founder membership in order to do the transition. Countries like Tanzania have transited from Nyerere to another president to another person. NRM and Uganda definitely in future will also have an opportunity to transit.
Of course, you've told us, you made it very clear for the record that you supported out of principle.
I did.
Not because of the 5 million that was passed in the end.
What is 5 million? 5 million, that was less than my monthly emolument that I was getting as a member of parliament. How would it influence me?
You didn't return it, did you?
No, I used it because it had to do work.
But it did not influence your mind.
How could it be?
Let's talk about President Museveni. Of course, he's told us he's anxious to retire. He wants to go and look after his cattle, some of which I've seen and I've visited his home in the past in Rajtura. But let's talk about some people saying he has personalized the affairs of state. Everything ends with the president. Borders. The president has the final word on literally everything.
Well, I have not had an opportunity to work, say, in cabinet with President Museveni to find out how he works and relates with cabinet.
No, some of the things we see. I've not been in cabinet, but those are things people
for
say.
sure, definitely, there are certain things that have been done in this country. And at times I've wondered whether it should be the president making decisions at that level. But could be that is done because of the history that we have had. Because the other day we were with him, he presided over Honorable Kadaga's function in Jinja. And the people of Busoga, like they have always said, have said that can you kindly open some of the rooms in your house so that some of our children can have an opportunity there. And the president openly said, he said the rooms are there and there are many, but make sure you get me the right people. So from what the president said, it would appear that he has tried many people in making decisions.
And they've let him down.
And they have let him down.
So when people run out of money, he has the final word.
And that at times makes him
he has to sign the sheet.
To micromanage some of the things because he has been let down by his cadres.
Hon Alaso, the people the president works with are not competent, so he has to finally deal with these things himself.
Well, that is what has been popularly referred to as presidentialism. And it's what you see every other day, whether it is commissioning a borehole, whether it is commissioning a new soft toilet. toilet, whether it is commissioned.
No. That is the regulatory. Which toilet has President Museveni gone to commission? Definitely, you want to say that as a member of the opposition,
it
but
has happened all the
happened.
time. So if it is handing over goats, handing over seedlings,
Or even goats?
yes, this is
Where?
bad goats.
Yes. The
Like
president.
where?
I've not heard about it.
The president has been doing all these things. So it is about the
Now you have
but
a
I
minister
want-
for TESOL
But I
doing
would
that.
like to take Emmanuel
What's the
back.
problem? When you trust people, the goats will disappear.
That is when
Yes,
organizations, in organizational growth, that is when organizations refuse to outgrow what Emmanuel called the founder syndrome. After a certain point T of time, an organization is supposed to develop institutional capacity that should outlive the founder. Unfortunately, I think that Emmanuel and the rest are forgetting that President Museveni is a human being. So one day, as it were, nature will face him out.
Has
I
that
can
come?
tell you, and I don't know, but I think 25 years without people with the capacity. How can all those ministers not have the capacity? I think that the ministers are not having the opportunity to advise and not having the opportunity to work. And I can tell you, if this continues, the day President Museveni exits the scene, there will be no legacy left behind. This country will crumble. I think President Museveni owes it to this nation to help the transition process while he is still alive, to move this country forward and to give Ugandans confidence in the next ruler and the next president that will come.
Well,
if
maybe-
he waits until that time T comes, we are in trouble.
Maybe that's why he has many ministers. If he had few, they would not be able to do their job.
After they
Well,
do
this is
that.
Spectrum on Radio, and tonight, what are the key issues emerging from the ongoing induction seminar for the new parliament? We'll be back after this break. Do stay with us.
Thank you for coming to the executive suite, madam. My name is Richard, your executive banker, and I'm here to handle all your banking needs.
Oh, really? Thank you. I noticed you don't have any queues here.
No, Mrs. Asio, we do not.
Oh, wow. You even know my name?
But of course, madam. Today we are offering you a current account with a Gold Visa debit card, home loans with attractive rates, Gold Visa credit cards, and unsecured personal loan.
All that for me?
Yes. In addition, we can offer you internet banking so that you can access our services from anywhere, even your home.
Oh, this is too much. What else will you give me now? Chai?
Experience executive banking at Stanbic Bank.
Excuse me, madam. Your cup of chai?
Ask about executive banking at your nearest branch or visit our executive banking suite in Nakasero Towers, Forest Mall at Lugogo, Garden City, Ntinda, Makerere, Mbarara, Mukono, Mbale, Lira and Gulu.
Stanbic Bank, moving forward.
Hi, I've got just 30 seconds to list all the destinations in Africa served by Kenya Airways out of Nairobi.
Abidjan, Accra, Addis Ababa, Bujumbura, Cairo, Cotonou, Dakar, Dar es Salaam.
He's never going to make it. Kenya Airways covers 70% of all destinations in Africa alone and several more worldwide. If you're starting from Uganda, there is no rush because Kenya Airways operates the most frequencies every day from Entebbe to the hub in Nairobi. So you can pick up any of these connections at your own convenience.
Johannesburg, Kigali, Kinshasa, Lagos, Lilongwe, Lusaka, Lubumbashi.
Kenya Airways, the pride of Africa.
Sebo, time's up. Malabo, Mauritius, Mombasa.
Tell me, Tata Domas, where are you coming from this time of the night?
Hey, Mama Domazo, relax. It's football. Football is not doing to us these days. Man, you has totally humiliated Manchester United. You know, 5 goals to 0. Fabregas, 2 goals. Drogba, Messi. Then who did us goal? Salvador.
Daddy, your Manchester is funny.
Unlike humans, structures don't lie. For their construction to be finished on time, you need cement that gains strength fast. This is what Hima Cement does best, and why most structures in Uganda are built with Hima Cement. So if you're thinking about building, think Hima Cement. Hima Cement, part of you from the start.
From the start.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90 is brought to you by Stanbic Bank.
Indeed, welcome back. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight, what are the key issues emerging from the ongoing induction seminar for the new parliament? Our guests tonight, Hon Enanuel Dombo, newly elected parliamentary commissioner, also member of parliament for Bunyole East, Hon Alice Alaso, I don't know how to pronounce that, maybe it's Asianat, Alaso, Secretary General of the FDC, Sarah District Woman, MP. You'll be able to call in later and ask questions or make general comments or contributions to this discussion. Let's talk about corruption.